Hi guys. Okay, good morning. So today we're going to start a little class and we are going to go over the One Favor a Year program. This is a favor thing that I began to incorporate about a year ago and that we have been making comments about but have not actually officially put it down into writing and made it a full-blown policy yet. And since we are actually becoming more of a larger group, we should have policies because this channel is actually meant to basically, we're the channel for the villains, you know, meaning like people who have charges or they have abuse or basically rehabilitation for criminals and people who would not pass background checks or qualify for apartments, you know, so on. I, from experience, was a straight A student and I became a fucking full-blown teen mom and convict out of nowhere, and I didn't see that coming. So, somebody who used to be very judgmental and could have swore up and down, I would never in my fucking life have went through any of the things that I went through. Like, I ended up receiving the most full-blown absolute karma that you could possibly imagine when it came to judging other people and bullying people at school, and I'm very grateful that that happened to me. And ever since then, it has changed my life. I was able to go back and forth many times between the dark side and the light, and something that I have a really great skill of doing is working with both kinds of people, and not a lot of people do that well. I know a lot of recovering addicts who absolutely refuse to be around anybody who's an addict. I also know a lot of addicts who they even say like, we're AA and you're NA. And, you know, it's not my place to say that anybody's right or wrong, but what I can say is that for me, the day that I changed the most and had the most impact was the day that the school owner, Martin, approached me while I was a student there, and he told me that he wanted me to be a teacher at the school. And I had never been talked to or treated with respect before in my life, and I was about 26, 24. I was 24 at the time. I didn't come back and teach for him until I was 26. But at 24, some random person from a whole different city and the owner of a fucking college saw potential in me, basically. And I honestly was scared shitless. I was only 6 months clean and I was a felon and I was CPS involved at the time. And so naturally I was horrified that when we did our interview, he was going to do the typical what's on your background question. And you know what? I was going to be honest no matter what. But, you know, who knows what, honestly, the qualifications might have been. And if anything that I had on my record would halt that dream from coming true, you know. And those are just different times, you know, in our lives. We get opportunities that we hear about. And then, you know, I know a lot of construction workers or roofers that like they can't qualify for like the $40, $50 paying jobs because the people that they work for don't allow felons and criminals on the work site. And I know that there's just many different things that we actually can end up doing that are devastating in the long run. You know, from ruining your credit score and from, you know, getting into fights and having assaults or CPS cases. You know, things like that prevent us from ever being able to adopt in the future or have custody of our nieces or nephews or grandchildren if that ever came up, which obviously is like in your family history. So, you know, just being aware of these things and how it has actually completely changed my life is something I want to share with you guys. Um, I have been through so many different dynamics, and I've been able to experience so many different personalities at such a fast pace, and it has been life-changing and very powerful for me. And the human mind and body and soul is such a powerful and mysterious thing for every one of us. And if we can all just know that to feel better is by understanding what we don't, then we would know that our answers are actually already within us and that our life moves at the pace that we push it. And any problems that we have that we worry about, we just simply need the right coach. We need the right leader to just tell us, hey, it's okay. You know what? It's okay. I've been there too. There is a step process that we can follow. Let's go ahead and check the procedure on it. Like, everything needs a procedure, guys. In your life, it needs a procedure. It needs a procedure based off of what is healthy for you and what works for you as an individual. You have to put your own self first, even if it may not be working for your wife or your husband. If you feel in your heart that they're going against something you love, you have to actually learn the skills out to tell them, excuse me, I really appreciate your opinion and I respect you. You know I do. I love you so much. But I feel like right now you're coming off a little bit. It's so hard. What are you gonna say? Well, I was just gonna use the term disrespectful, but I feel like if we were to use disrespectful, that would be strong too. And so it's really about how you can communicate your feelings firmly, but with the most respect, because it's about having the result in the long term be for the overall best for everybody involved. It's not just like, oh, we're gonna do this because it's quick, it's convenient, it's what we always do, that's what they always do. You know, we hear all these different things and reasons for why things in our life don't get better. We hear a lot of people complain constantly about what they don't like about their partners, and 5 years later, they're still bitching about their fucking partner, and you're like, what a fucking miserable fucking bitch. Dude, I like, in my head, when I hear somebody complaining about their partner for fucking days and years straight, I'm just like, I start to totally feel bad for their partner. A lot of times that person that they're complaining about, you've never seen anything about what they've said, anything ever that partner do. And even if you have seen it, you've offered every type of fucking outlet as an option for them to better themselves, their lives. You know, you've said, come live with me. You know, I know about the shelter. You need to leave him. You know, you say, is there anything I can do? I mean, we say everything possible in the world to these people. And at one point, you know, whether you're getting robbed, you're getting lied to, you're getting your heart broke, you have to really just start to take your power back and realize that, you know what, I'm allowing this stuff to happen to me. I become what I allow. I experience what I allow. And that's the truth at the end of the day. Because if it weren't, you would have to actually say, I am not intelligent or wise enough at this time. I lack skills at this time to be in charge of my own self and decision making. And so it's like, do you take accountability and responsibility for what's going on in your life, or do you continue to complain out loud and waste all of the people's time, honestly, in our group? Because we're one of the few people, even though they run their mouth about how crazy we are, we're one of the few people that can actually deal with the shit that they complain about. Nobody around them is listening to it. They're not having success anywhere else. It's still on their mind. You have yet to see them change. Nobody still has given them a solution yet. So if anybody around you is repeat complaining and you've already talked to them about it, you need to let them know very clearly, you're not there to be contacted for venting purposes. So we're not venting friends unless they've done it one time. You know, if you're hearing it, you know, absolutely you got to understand when somebody's very first off venting, they're emotional, they're panicking, it can come off very fast and very they're obviously have lost control of their emotions, and so they might yell, they might cry, they're gonna be, freaking out. Like, that's normal. Something in that stage, when it's time number one, not only do you need to allow that person to express whatever they're saying and listen, you need to listen, you need to pay attention to how they're expressing it, what they're doing with their body language, the words they're using. Do they have accountability? Do they blame? Do they make excuses? And also, do they make sense? Pay very close attention to somebody who makes very clear sentences saying things like, I got kicked out, my landlord fucked me over, my man fucked me over, they'll say straight up a full-blown, it could be anywhere from like 1 to 5 sentences or so, but it's always basically saying straight up, like, a very, very extreme situation happens, and usually they get kicked out or removed from wherever it is that they're at. It could be a job, could be a place that they live, and it could also be a previous relationship or even a family situation. But basically, they'll tell you in these moments, those ones in particular will tell you exactly what happened, but they'll say, yeah, it was fucked up. Nancy cheated on me at midnight, and then I fucking come home and she slaps me in the face and then kicks me out of the fucking house. I couldn't even believe it. Her man was sitting in the car. I seen them both. I can't believe Nancy would come home with another dude and just slap me in the middle of my sleep and kick me out of the house. So more than likely, that whole story, that's what he and this bitch did. And Nancy, he came in and fucking maybe slapped Nancy. Maybe he was with this bitch and Nancy came in and fucking slapped him because they were in the bed together. But whatever that story is, like every fucking time, dude. With the whole kicked out, the landlord fucked me over. Nah, bro, no. Anybody with a full-blown paragraph worth of an explanation that is very dramatic and would cause their physical presence to be in your life for more than a favor, they're a liar, and they're going to do the exact same thing that they just did to that previous landlord, person, anything. It's happened every single time. I've hosted thousands of guests, and I've graduated thousands of students, and I've managed thousands of crew. I've been on the fishing vessels, and I've done corporate leadership for 13 years, and I've been a teacher for 11, and I study psychology. It's my passion, and I'm telling you, that is what those ones will do. So in these situations, when you have anybody coming to you, the first thing you're going to do is let them know that actually you'd love to be there for them. Let them know that that's something that you're actually very passionate about. You can open up the conversation by allowing the person to vent, let them speak, because this is your moment to learn how this person thinks, reacts. Do they have blame? Do they have accountability? And from there, you're now already placing this whole thing exactly how you need it to go. And there's a few different ways that this whole favor program can actually go. First of all, you need to start it off with saying, actually have a favor program that I do for the purpose of being able to help more people out throughout the year. You can say that you have dreams of organizing a nonprofit organization, and just whatever you choose to say. It's really not their choice, what they feel about it when it's over being said. It's really about you making sure that whatever words you choose to tell anybody regarding your programs, your new approach to resolution, and how you're going to deal with things differently based off of whatever experiences you've had in the past. And you can choose to relate to this person. You can choose to say you're passionate about helping people, and so it's anything in the world. I say straight up that we do it like this, because I'm not here to tell you what you need to do. I'm here to tell you that if you don't speak how you truly feel in the moment when you do feel that way, your path changes. And so in order for you to actually gain love, gain prosperity, gain peace, you have to be true to yourself. And your higher power is sending you natural messages. Your brain, your body, your heart, your soul, they all send you instant messages anytime and every time something happens. When you smell fucking somebody fart, you can smell it in your nose. Your body language will tell you. And then so they might look at you, and maybe it's somebody that you don't want to know that you like. Why the fuck wouldn't we want? Bro, that's what I'm saying. That is how fucking off path people are, is that somebody can stink around us and we're like, no, it's fine. I love being next to you. Are you kidding me? Sit on my lap. How many of you guys do that? How many of you guys say yes when you really want to say no? So you're more than welcome to be anything that you want to be in the Army. Actually, it's not the Army. You can't do that here. But you can work somewhere else. I'm sure somebody else will hire you. But yeah, in the Villain Blood Club, we have to be pure. We have to be authentic. We are light workers. We are outcasts. We are misfit kids. We're Rudolph the fucking red-nosed reindeer. We're Harry Potter, whatever you want to call it. We're the middle child. I mean, we're the fucking best. We're mother and father's pride and joy, and the reason why they're fucking happy every day, every fucking day. Yes, Ellen, it's my real mom. I know, because I saw it in a dream. She looked just like me. Who do you look like, Ellen? Your dad or your mom? Anyway, she's so rude to me. She doesn't even believe that I have a real mom, because she's never met her, but I know that it was her. I had a dream about her. Anyways, So what's going to happen here is we're going to actually start this whole thing off by letting people know, yeah, dang, I'm sorry to hear that happen to you. That you're not going to want to, you don't need to talk, you cannot be in any way negative as a light worker. And we're going to make tons of errors. But this whole chapter right now is going to set us up. We're in pre-emperor and pre-empress. A lot of us are in king and king stage. You have to be in king and king stage at this time to be in this particular class, meaning you have a job, you have a vehicle, you have your license, and you have your car, and you have a place to live, and that you have your basics in order. So in order to even give somebody advice or even really offer them a favor, you're going to want to be in a place of standing that you can say you have experienced something, you understand what they're talking about. You need to understand what it is they're even going through. If you don't understand what they said, why they asked you for a favor, if you don't feel like you believe it, if you don't have any connections to it. I mean, if it's just a fucking full of shit lie, you are obligated by your higher power to do what is right at all times. And what is always right is to be kind and helpful to the people, but it is not to actually be an outlet for them to be codependent on you, and you're actually codependent too. And I never thought of us as codependent, but we're codependent on actually helping other people, because you know why? We have never got respect or acceptance from people that we look up to. And so it makes people like us feel like we're doing something for people that are really truly grateful for it. Sometimes even people that help other people out that are on the same level or even above, they feel like those people are ungrateful. And then you go and give some person that has very little, I bet you if you walked over to this, single mom's house who has 4 kids and her yard looks like shit, and you mowed her yard and you paid her mortgage and you brought her groceries, are you fucking kidding me? Gratitude out the roof. But you do that for your fucking regular wife or husband, you can do that every day, and like, this bitch don't even look up at you when you walk through the room. It's that vibe. It's that you get something more out of it. You feel good when you do it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's more people out there that need help, and a true friend does not just do a favor for another person without understanding why it is that their friend is actually struggling. Doing favors for people just means that somebody's struggling. And yes, it's wonderful that we help them out, but we need to truly help them out. And we need to know why it is this person is in the situation that they are. What are their barriers? And what is their mindset? And is it a skill, a will, or a hill? So the first thing you want to confirm with them is that they understand there's going to be a favor program, and it's your policy, and it's because you're working towards specific goals and working towards opening up your own organization, your own business. This could be for real, this could be within your heart, this could be between you and your higher power, but basically you're changing the way things are done, and the policy now is that everybody gets 1 favor a year, and that person needs to understand what you're saying. So they're going to say something like, hey, can I get a ride to the store? Okay. Dude, how many people call and ask for fucking dumbass rides? I don't even like giving rides, and I definitely don't ever want to give it again. So if you're somebody who hates giving rides, or even somebody maybe you have a different thing to do, maybe you cancel plans sometimes because this person, you let them borrow your car and they didn't bring it back, and now you missed work. Maybe they wrecked it. Maybe you have a bill now. There's a million different outcomes for every single thing that we do at all times, and many of those outcomes actually lead us to stressful situations, ruined relationships, questions without answers, and repeated fucking habits of continuing to help another person out, and we're like, everybody fucks us over, everybody cheats on me, I never fucking get it, I never get the job, it becomes an I never. And at first you didn't feel like that, and then you're like, you keep trying it again and you get fucked over again, you try it again, you get fucked over again. But guys, you didn't learn anything different. You think the world is doing it, you think Nancy's doing it, you think Joe's doing it, but no, you allow it. Even if they do it, we allow it. So we have to stop. We have to grow strength. We have to grow in strength, and we have to actually respect each other, and we have to be the leader and the change that they wish to see. And they're coming to you because they know you are somebody who can actually be of help to them, which means they do see you as higher up. They do think you're capable of it, and they actually are so confident that you have the skills and what it takes to help them through the situation that they look pretty fucking casual coming over and asking you once again to do whatever they are asking you to do. So you should take that as a compliment. And if you were to go into any big dog's office, picture yourself going and talking to the owner of your fucking work, and you're about to walk in and you're going to ask for a favor. You're going to be nervous. You shouldn't be comfortable. You should be in your head searching legit, like, if there's anybody, honestly, that you can ask and who you should ask and why you should feel comfortable asking this person. And I'll tell you what, anybody with status or with money, I get nervous about asking. And we go through feelings of like, is it shameful that we need help? Can we even ask for help? Is this a habit? Have we ever asked this person before? When can we pay them back? I mean, there's a million questions when it comes to meeting another person. So if you have anybody around you that blatantly is just straight up disrespecting you, that person is a disrespectful person, and they're doing it to more than likely everybody. And it is actually the people in their lives' responsibility to set firm boundaries and let them know where they stand, because that's where they learn the most when it comes to what they can do to other people. Nobody else knows this person out there. The people at the grocery store are not going to stop it. Joseph, you have got to stop treating your wife like shit. It is completely unethical to not come home all night long and make her walk to work. Are you kidding me? That is fucking unethical. You're acting wild, Joseph. Anyways, so yeah, who's gonna say it? Who the fuck else? And so at the end of the day, everybody around is literally just like mad at Joseph. His wife's mad at Joseph. She won't leave him. Maybe his mother-in-law hates his guts. Maybe Joseph's mom is instigating Joseph to fucking treat this bitch like shit. I mean, overall, you're looking at the whole scene and you're like, honestly, this whole thing is a lot to deal with. And if people are coming around and they're bringing that kind of energy and that kind of discussion into your space, they're polluting it. Hands down, disgustingly polluting it. So you would have to end up literally sanitizing. They're not like anybody who touches your things, it leaves their energy. If they even walk into your home, energy. If they touch your land, energy. If they come into your thought process, energy. And then however much of a big deal the problem is, it's thinking, you're taking all of your time to think about it, energy. It's like at the end of the day, if we had an actual clock in, clock out, we could reference that to how many minutes or hours or days or years that we've spent thinking about anything that's bothered us. We've probably ended up in thoughts that were really painful and hurtful for not only just more hours than you could even imagine, but some of us more than half or even 75% of your life you've spent feeling like you've been fucked over by all these different kinds of people. And you've even gotten to the point for some of you guys where you don't trust, you don't date, you don't believe that people are good. And that's a mindset. And we're going to change that today by respecting ourselves. Because when we respect ourselves, it stops others from being able to disrespect us. And we all know that we have very strong and clear warning red flag feelings every single time, except for just a couple times. I mean, there's going to be a couple times that, yes, you're going to be like literally really surprised. And if somebody actually surprises you and they outsmart you, you should be impressed. Be impressed, you guys. I'm always extremely impressed when somebody actually fucking pulls something on me. I'm like, you clever little fucker. And I'm not gonna lie, I get a little curious, and I think it's kind of cute, and I find it attractive. Probably because I'm a big competitor type of person, and so if somebody actually is clever in the first place before me and beyond me, and they actually have 1000% full blown made me believe something that was not true and I had no fucking clue, I'm impressed. And I'm also concerned at that point. I wonder in my head, I'm like, am I getting dumber? How did they do that? And why didn't I notice that? That's always my question in the first place whenever anything happens that I didn't see coming, is how did I not notice that? But like, if you are certain that you do know what the fuck's going on, and then this person has intelligently executed something that, yeah, it was against you, then, and it worked, you should not be wasting your time thinking that everybody's fucking you over. In my opinion, who wouldn't fuck somebody over? It's just like you're acting kind of like the kid at school that always gets picked on, and you're just kind of always coming back to school and you're never saying anything. You don't report it to nobody. You don't tell your parents about it. You don't stand up to this person and kick them in the nuts. Every day you just keep coming and you just walk with your head down and you let these bitches fucking handle you. Well, you can't do that. You cannot do that. So once you start to understand what you're working with personality-wise, confirm. Just, listen to whatever they have to say and really listen. So what are we looking for? We are looking for blame or accountability, ability to do they have the ability to listen at any point basically during the conversation? After they're done expressing themselves, I want you to wait for them to be done. And when you respond, if this person starts talking real frantically or keeps saying, yeah, but I can't, yeah, but, or every time you give them a solution, they're yeah butting you, or it wouldn't work out like that, or they're saying some stupid shit like, oh yeah, maybe tomorrow or something will be okay, like him hawing around. This person is, stop. This person is not planning on doing anything to change it, and they're coming over and their habit is basically making a scene and sounding extremely dramatic, and whoever they're used to talking to, they're usually convinced that these things are going on. And so our duty is to actually know what kind of personalities we're actually helping out, because we're not going to necessarily say yes or no to anybody. But what we do need to now slice off and out is who the fuck is manipulative, who's a risk, who's pollutant, who is lying. We don't allow that type of behavior. And so we may be somebody who can make more money, we can get it back, we can block people, we can handle our shit like a boss, but we're not going to be disrespected. We're not going to fucking tolerate it. We have to protect each other in this group. We won't be allowing any of us to have polluted minds or negative mindsets. We're not going to have broken hearts. We're not going to fucking allow disrespect. We're going to fucking set a fucking pace for this fucking shit and literally make some fucking rules. So, ability to listen, I'm just going to put, and we went over that so you know what that means. Listen to feedback. Okay, so whatever they end up saying, that's just really mental note that you're taking, because you're logging this in your mind now about what kind of person they are, and you're going to place them into the proper category, which we'll go over at a different time. Once they're done talking and you respond and you're able to conversate with them, however you were successfully able to do that, even if you're not, you can decide if you're going to help them or not, and how you can, and what kind of help you're going to offer, and let them know that then you will not agree to anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. So like the other day, I had somebody call and I had two people. They're like, hey, can I get 100? And then another person said, can they get 50? The person who needed the $100, actually, was somebody at the time that I trusted. So I went ahead. I didn't have 100 to give, but I could probably have spared 40. And so I said, here's 40. And I know in those moments that this person, I look at the whole thing, that person at that time never has screwed me over. They work, they're kind, and they were nice. And I knew that $100 was going to be more than I wanted to spare. But $40 would be something I could not only spare, but if it came to losing it, it really wasn't as big of a loss. And so that's how I determined what I was going to determine. This person did actually end up not returning the money or coming through. They actually took a chainsaw and said something about somebody wanting to supposedly buy it for fucking $600, and I should have known they were full of shit because they sold it to me for fucking like 100, maybe 250 was what he even requested originally. And honestly, those are things that I now look back at and I'm like, okay, well, what, like I knew, see, and those are the feelings we have to pay attention to. I was doing a video actually when he called and he was like, did you get my message? Yeah, somebody wants to fucking buy it. I was like, what? Why would they want to buy it for that? He's like, because it's worth it, dude. And I was like, well, why would we sell it then? And he's like, it's not worth much more. Okay, all those right there, I'm not only catching on, I'm mentioning how I'm catching on. He knows his strategy was to make me feel excited, like it was actually true. I'm pretty sure that he just wanted it back because, to be honest, he had been trying to hook up with me and be my boyfriend, and I'm not into him, and I made that very clear. And so I'm pretty sure he felt as though maybe he had given me a good deal, and because he didn't end up getting me in bed or a bit like as his girlfriend, I'm pretty sure he literally lied and took the chainsaw back over it, and that's fine. I will put him in the book of favors. So that's what we're gonna do. So he's been given that one opportunity, and that was not just a favor, but that was him losing his trust. He's not going to have me as a friend now, and that's how I look at it, guys. They're not coming over to us because they're doing better than us. They are obviously already somebody who needs help. They're not doing well at this time anyway, and you know how often you hear from this person or see them. So at the end of the day, is it really a loss that these people fuck us over and we don't have to bother seeing them anymore because they were really fucking annoying? And I bet you whatever it is that they owe us for is actually less in value than all of the favors they've already asked you for. You've probably dished out way more money, way more food, let them stay at your house, given them more rides. This person is probably somebody who is always actually, as you've been finding out, in another situation. And the problem with these people is when we first meet them, nobody acts like they're a freaking shit show. And so not only are they using you, fucking you over, taking advantage of you, but they were manipulating us. They were making us feel like they were charming, they were amazing, I didn't even know that dude with the chainsaw didn't have a fucking house. He told me something about living over in like Airway or something. And then one day out of nowhere, he was like, oh, well, can I stay at your Airbnb? And I'm like, I thought you had a place. Like, I have a rule about not kicking it with pages. And nights are iffy too. But pages have no home, and they typically have addiction issues, and they've gotten kicked out from wherever they're at because they have cheating issues as well, typically. And so it's just not somebody that you need around you or anywhere near the villains. So it's just a mooch energy. It's the lowest that you can go in the deck. It's always somebody who honestly is needing a place to stay, and they have literally probably a fresh breakup going on, some bitches that they talk to on the side, and